What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast Zoom edition. I'm Arnold Telegarda, and we have Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser.
Via Zoom, baby, via Zoom.
Via Zoom.
We gotta do what we gotta do, right?
Yeah, via Zoom indeed, man. WrestleMania is in the books, man. WrestleMania is in the books. That's so crazy. I was looking forward to WrestleMania since January, and the fact that it already passed by us, it's mind-blowing to me.
It's mind-blowing to me, too. I talked to you this morning
Yeah.
about how depressed I was about everything that's going on. And, of course, I'm not alone. Like, the whole world is just on hold. But, yeah, I haven't felt this way since the one WrestleMania when Finn Balor was repping the LGBTQ colors. And I remember that Monday after WrestleMania, I was devastated. I was crying like a baby, sobbing like a baby. But the show must go on, just like WrestleMania, the show must go on. And it was so huge that they had to make it 2 nights, correct?
Correct. That is the tagline, right? For me as a fan, I went through a whole emotional roller coaster with this WrestleMania. A little bit of, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of disappointment. But I think overall, my whole feeling of this year's WrestleMania was thankful. I was thankful that we got a WrestleMania through this crazy, crazy times. Like at least I'm speaking for myself. Like, whether they had the best intentions or not, like maybe WWE was just trying to fulfill some obligations that they had to fulfill. Maybe it's just to entertain the fans, but whether the intention was there or not, they provided me and other people with distractions, and they gave us something to look forward to at the end of the day.
Drew Chimnick just texted me as we were filming this episode, and he asked me what were my thoughts on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, I think everyone, I think everyone can say that, like, being a performer, like, there's no better feeling than the crowd getting behind the action, and having no crowd there. And like I told you last night, having a crowd there kind of softens the impact of the beating that we take in the ring on a daily basis. So not having a crowd there, for me, it was a disconnect. It was a huge disconnect. I think the show should have been postponed, but with WWE, the show must go on. And they went on with the show, and they did something that's never been done. They did something that a lot of professional organizations can follow after, by still entertaining the fans, still wowing the crowd. And their whole message, WWE, is they would put smiles on people's faces. And I think probably with this WrestleMania, they were able to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, if let's say they do postpone WrestleMania, I feel like on WWE's end, it's almost like a risky decision if they were able to do that, because for one, we don't know when this whole thing is going to be over. And this is all rumors, no facts, but I heard that Vince McMahon had a meeting with Trump to talk about the state of WWE. And from my sources, Trump told him that he could see arenas being filled again around August. Now, if WWE were to wait for WrestleMania until August, I don't know how they would fill in the time. That's more than a couple of months, like with storylines and everything moving. I think it might have been easy. I mean, right or wrong, maybe it might have been, it's easier for WWE to just put it out now instead of not even having a for sure, knock on wood, what if this whole thing lasts longer than a year? So, but yeah, I get what you mean. Of course, I would prefer it with the crowd. Of course, I would prefer it with the whole, fireworks and the whole extravaganza that is WrestleMania. And I said sadness earlier. Not for me. I felt really sad for Drew. for Drew. I didn't really catch his. I think he has a 24 or something like that on the WWE Network, but they had a first look and they played a little snippet, and Drew was quarantined, and it was a footage of Drew being asked by the producer. I don't know if you saw this, but he asked him the same thing, like, "Oh, how do you feel?" And he said like a win, like a whole roller coaster emotions himself. He felt like he was sad, he was angry, because like he worked so hard for this moment. Everyone did, everyone has, but this was supposed to be his WrestleMania, and it still is, because at the end of the day, he won the WWE Championship. But you could, I can't even imagine knowing that that's gonna be knowing that that information is given to you and you're like looking forward to it since the Royal Rumble. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have this big moment. Over 10 years of my career, this is my moment. It's gonna lead up all to this, and then boom, real life happens. Real things happen bigger than wrestling affects your moment, and now you have to deal with the fact that your dream moment, you have to compromise that, and you have to deal with what it is, and it still happens, but there's just not that roar of the crowd. And I'm sure, as sweet as it is, I'm sure Drew has to be still devastated about that. That's what I'm sad for.
I mean, Drew is a sweetheart backstage, hell of a guy. Supported me when I came out publicly years ago, but in the ring, he's vicious and he's snug. And I totally agree that uh, not having a crowd there to see his victory, it would hurt me. Since it was already pre-recorded, I think something they could have done is set something up where to capture the masses, the reactions. If they could have done like, the Brady Bunch, how they have like the screens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have like, I don't know how many screens switching up, 30 images, different images, and then pan to the reaction when like Drew gets to victory, pan to the Brady Bunch type screen of the fans' reactions. So I think that would have been cool. You know what I mean? And then when you watch it back, you see the interactive with the fans still being a part of it, but they're a part of it, at home.
Yeah.
I think. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So it's almost, like the Lakers winning the championship, and you see that footage of everyone at the bar, like going bananas. Instead of that, it's every like little footage of everyone in their individual homes reacting to it. Yeah, totally. I think they totally should have done that. That would definitely
Yes. Yeah.
create the moment.
Yeah. From all over the world, you capture all these reactions, from people all over the world. But that's something that maybe they can look into next time, or we can maybe use this as a soundbite to kind of share with the world that, they could have added this too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Um, for the first time in 36 years, WrestleMania was broken into 2 nights. Did you like that? Or did you prefer it all in one night?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and I think moving forward they should maybe do that because it gives people opportunities to wrestle longer. I mean, to just watch wrestling for one night, which is normally 7 hours of WrestleMania, I think is way too long. It's too long for me, and I'm a performer. So
Right.
splitting it up into 2 nights, I think it adds more value. It adds more value to the WrestleMania. It adds more value to the superstars. They get more time. You get more bodies on the show, and everyone is happy. So I think moving forward, having it 2 nights is a great deal. And I think Mustafa Ali was also on board with that. He thought it was a great idea to maybe moving forward, having it 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, I thoroughly enjoyed it because it's not just one night of Mania, it's a whole weekend of Mania. And it's really a cool feeling to know that night one is over and it's Saturday night and you still have one whole day to look forward to. That was really cool. And I think if WWE continues to do that from now on, some people might argue with the fact that, oh, I don't know, if they do 2 nights, does that mean that it's not going to be stadium? Because can they pack a stadium back to back like that? So it might have to be an arena, like Staples Center size, for 2 nights to be possible. In my opinion, I think they can pack a stadium back to back, especially with heavy hitter matches like last night. Um, I think they did a good job splitting up the cards. There was matches that I was looking forward to on both nights. I think they did a good job with that. Let's talk about night one. The kickoff show was Cesaro and Drew Gulak, and here's another thing that it's kind of like a bittersweet moment in this WrestleMania. Oh, Fred, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say this WrestleMania, there's a lot of first timers, right? There's a lot of people making their WrestleMania debut in this WrestleMania, and again, it's cool, but at the same time, like, oh man, I feel bad for them that it's with an empty arena. But Drew Gulak is one of those people that made their WrestleMania debut, and he wrestled Cesaro. Did you happen to catch that match by any chance?
No, I didn't check it, but I'm sure it was off the hook.
Yeah, it was cool because even though it happened in the kickoff, like it doesn't matter anymore. I still count that as a WrestleMania match, and I think it was the right call for Cesaro to win because I really love the dynamic chemistry with Cesaro, Shinsuke, and Sami Zayn, and I think their group name, the Artist Collective, is really really cool because. They're what they're called, three internet darlings, right? They've been in the independent scene for a while, and I think they're well respected by the smart fans. So having Cesaro win that WrestleMania match, I think sets the tone for the Artist Collective, and I think sets the tone for what kind of year they're gonna have. And I think that was the right call for them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't check the match out, but like, I'm sorry to skip all over the place, but I mean, for Sami Zayn to beat Strowman, and then
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I said, like, I've scratched my head at a lot of things, even working with WWE. But it's just very weird. It's very weird.
Sure. No, I get that. It goes after that. It goes to the main show, and the first match on the card is Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against the Kabuki Warriors. And I didn't know this, but Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross has a team name. They're called Bliss Cross. Had no idea until someone said that, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like that's a pretty fun ship name. Play on the crisscross and everything. Did you happen to see that match by any chance?
No, I didn't see that match.
Gotcha. Well, Bliss Cross went over, and Alexa Bliss had the pinfall. And again, bittersweet moment. Nikki Cross's first WrestleMania moment, and I don't know. There's this one spot during the match where you can tell Nikki Cross wanted to have her WrestleMania moment, where she rips off her shirt and she was just screaming, right? Ah! And I felt that Michael Cole kind of shitted on that a little bit because as she ripped off her shirt and she was like, ah! And Michael's like, well, to each his own. And then JBL's like, well, she's just trying to create a WrestleMania moment. That felt weird.
You bring that up because you want to ruffle my feathers, Been there, done that, And I wouldn't be surprised if she was in Gorilla afterwards, upset about the commentators not putting over the action. It's funny, Chris Jericho said that he watched WrestleMania and he had it on mute.
Wow, really?
And he had it on mute. He said it wasn't a dig at the commentators, but he just wanted to. He said it was cool watching it without any audio. You should try it sometime. So I don't know if that was a dig at maybe the commentators were just, taking over the action or what.
Yeah.
And then there were fans that said that certain matches, it sounded like it was commentators doing golf. You know what I mean? So it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Sure, man. And I can't even imagine as a performer being in that venue that night, how awkward it must be, because for the first time ever, they can hear the announcers as they're wrestling. Sometimes they would play a footage back, and as they're showing a moonsault, you hear Michael Cole and JBL voice very clearly. So it really goes to show what the wrestlers are hearing when they wrestle, because they're literally like what, a few feet away as they're like doing the commentating. So every single remarks that they make, they're gonna hear in real time, which I thought must be something that they have to get used to as the match continues, because that must mess with your head, like you're doing a body slam and you hear like them commentate, oh, body slam. And it's, I don't know. I bet that has to mess with you as a performer a little bit.
Oh, definitely. And then you can hear the refs in there too. You got to be careful with your calling the action and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And props to my homie, our homie, Ref Bennett, because he
Yeah.
main evented the last match with Drew and Brock. So for him to main event that was a huge accomplishment for someone that hasn't been doing it that long with WWE. That's a huge accomplishment for him. So props to Sean Bennett.
Yeah, props to him. It just goes to show how much WWE trusts him. He's main event Bennett now, man. That's his gimmick.
Main event Bennett.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I like that. Well, don't forget, and he'll always say that I put my name on the line for him because he can walk the walk and he can talk the talk. So
Yeah.
he's running stuff. He's with Ring Crew. He's main eventing WrestleMania. So I'm super proud of him.
Yeah, we've seen it firsthand when we were at Bakersfield. I mean, you've seen it more than me, but I saw it firsthand, seeing
Yep.
how hard he worked after the show was over. Boom, like right off, like right away with the crew, taking the ring down and everything, which was amazing.
And
Uh,
his motto is with the union workers that help set up and break down the ring. The faster you take this ring down, or the faster you get this ring up, the
yeah,
faster you can get on break. So
true.
yeah, he's the boss. He's the boss.
Yeah, that's a great mentality to have, man. Second match in the card is Elias having his first WrestleMania wrestling match against King Corbin, and Elias got the win, which is really cool. I think that's the right call. And I've heard Elias's interviews from the past. He was a little bit down on the fact that he never really had a WrestleMania match last year, but everyone was trying to cheer him up, like, Elias, listen, man, you didn't have a match, but you had a segment with John Cena. Like, that's a big part of the show. And Elias gets that, but I think it's really cool that this year he officially gets the match, and he won. And WWE's Instagram page just posted like a few hours ago, Elias just started a new WrestleMania streak, 1-0, which is true, and I'm happy for him. Super talented guy, man.
He's got to get out of that Ultimate Warrior type mentality, because when Ultimate Warrior got his first Intercontinental Championship against Honky Tonk Man,
Uh-huh.
it was scheduled to go however long, 8 seconds, 12 seconds. But at the time, Ultimate Warrior was like, no, I want to go longer. I want to have a long match. And Honky Tonk Man, being the veteran he is, he said, whether it's 12 seconds or 20 minutes, it's the same amount of money. You're getting paid the same
Wow.
amount. So
Wow.
for 12 seconds of work, you're getting $500,000 or so dollars. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. So that's what it's all about. Titus was on WrestleMania 2 as a host. Whatever it takes. Titus understands he don't need to put no gear on anymore. He doesn't need to take any bumps anymore. He
Sure.
can just do his talking.
Yeah, he's a great ambassador for the company, man. Um, what was I gonna say? Did you know that Titus was gonna do that at night too? That he was gonna be a part of the show?
No, no, I didn't know, but I know Titus. I know how he works. Um, I know how he operates. I always say the most intimidating thing about Vince McMahon is his office door, and he would bust through any day and be like, "Oh, what you got for us? What you got for us? What you got for us?" And he was great about it. He was great about it. I always wanted to have a game plan with Titus, but Titus helped me break out of my shell. Titus, closed mouths don't get fed. So you have to be able to speak up and be confident. That's what Vince McMahon likes. So I
Sure.
learned a lot from Titus. I learned what to do. I learned a lot what to do and what not to do. Don't put your hands on the boss.
Man. Ugh.
Don't,
So
Arnold, don't put your hands on the boss when at the time you're losing one of their top stars, Daniel Bryan, because
yeah,
that's when it happened. Daniel Bryan was announcing his retirement, and then, wrong place, wrong time.
yeah,
But I still love the big man.
yeah. I bet that's such a weird moment for Titus. 'Cause I'm sure Vince snapping on Titus like that is the same thing as Vince snapping at R-Truth, because I'm sure they play around like that all the time and have that kind of relationship. So I'm sure Titus is super confused when that
Art,
happens.
yeah, I don't see Vince McMahon ever snapping at R-Truth because R-Truth knows, R-Truth knows his role.
Sure.
It's funny when they would do when WWE does the tribute to the troops and they do the handshake tour.
Mhm.
Vince is always on it, and Vince always has his select few of superstars that do the tribute to the troops handshake tour, and
Mhm.
R-Truth is always on it. And the reason why he's always on it is because he literally makes Vince McMahon laugh. So
Yeah.
Vince McMahon wants to have some good laughs. You have R-Truth, and R-Truth is blown up TikTok. If you haven't seen him on TikTok, I cry my eyes out.
Not
He's one guy, and you've seen it firsthand at dinner after a show. He has me crying my eyes out. He just knows how to. He knows how to turn a bad day into a good day with me. I need him now in my life more than ever.
Yeah, I get that, man. Well, speaking of the tribute to our troops, the famous picture, there's always videos of, like who Vince McMahon is surprisingly close to. And the picture that they always use is that picture of Vince McMahon and R-Truth during the tribute to the troops. And it's literally Vince going, like laughing his ass off, like next to R-Truth. So yeah, that story totally makes sense. Um, but going back to the first night, we had another artist collective member, Sami Zayn, wrestling for the prestigious Intercontinental Championship against Daniel
Yeah,
Bryan.
yeah,
And to me, this was a dream match because I remember when Daniel Bryan was retired, people were saying that Sami Zayn is the guy that replaces Daniel Bryan, as far as ring work and also the connection with fans. Fred, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm really glad that Sammy had his one-on-one match as well because he's only been in ladder matches at Mania. And this is his first. Oh no, he's been in ladder matches and tag team matches, but he didn't win the tag team match nor the ladder match. But he got his first win, clean win, and not to mention retain his IC championship at WrestleMania against one of the best, Daniel Bryan. And again, to me, with Cesaro winning and Sami Zayn winning as the artist collective, I think they're they're gonna have big plans for this group, and I hope this group also lasts as long as the New Day as a trio because they gel pretty well together.
Yeah, I watched the match with Daniel Bryan and Sammy, and one word: physical.
Yeah,
Physical.
yeah,
I remember SummerSlam. I sound just like a veteran. I sound just like an old timer. But I remember SummerSlam, what was it, 5 against 5? Or what was the match with the
What are you talking about?
Nexus?
Oh,
Huh?
your SummerSlam match.
Yeah.
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 John Cena and like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 7-on-7. And I had told Daniel Bryan ahead of time. I said, when we're in there, because I was in and out, I said, when we're in there, I said, kick me as hard as you can. Like, be physical with me. Be
Right.
physical.
Right.
And Daniel Bryan was like, okay. He he snapped married me where I land on my butt, and he kicked me in my back. My
Ooh.
legs went numb. My legs went
Mm.
numb, and I was literally like a snake, like crawling to the ropes. No, crawling towards the buckle so he could shoot me off in reverse, and then he does his back flip where he goes to hit the ropes and he hits you with the running elbow. I
Yeah.
literally couldn't move my legs, and that was it for me. That was it for me during that match. If I had to go
Wow.
more, I would have been done. And I'm all about being physical, but don't
Yeah.
hurt me.
Yeah, sure. That was like a stiff roundhouse kick, I bet, man.
Right to the spine. Right to the
Yikes.
spine. I was paralyzed for a good 20 seconds.
Wow. Wow. That had to sting.
It did. Well, I asked for it.
That's true. That's true. Um, but yeah, man. It's speaking of this whole WrestleMania, I know obviously that it wasn't shot live. I know it's already been done for a few days now, but I didn't know how long ago that some matches were filmed already. I believe
Mhm.
that the majority of the shots were already done 2 weeks ago. So by the time this happened, the wrestlers that competed are out of quarantine, right?
Mm.
Away from their families. Because I know that's one of the things that Edge discussed, and that's one of the things that Daniel Bryan discussed. That after WrestleMania is over, Brie was kind of sad because it's going to be 3 weeks till she sees him again, because he literally has to be in the hotel for 2 weeks before he goes home to his, Bree's pregnant, to his pregnant wife and his daughter. And same with Edge. Edge just posted a pic on Instagram saying how grateful he was and all that, and that he shot this 2 weeks ago, and now he's out of quarantine, and it's just crazy how different this WrestleMania is. But
But our like my question I need to ask people, and then moving forward, I think I'll reach out to some of my friends like Manny, Kalisto, to see if they can maybe do a Zoom with us and be on our podcast. But I'm just curious as to are people still traveling like full time? Like there's no travel ban where you can't travel within the U.S. But like usually after WrestleMania, we normally do an overseas tour. So most likely that's off. And also probably currently, like, are they in Orlando now going to film Raw after Mania? Like, I wonder, how does that work? Are,
yeah,
are
that's
people
true.
just staying? Are people just staying in Orlando? Because I know people have to fly out and all
Yeah,
that stuff. So I'm just curious as to how that works.
yeah, all great questions. Yeah, I want to know those things too, because I think they are having a Raw tonight at the PC. But again, Raw, that doesn't mean live matches. It could just be um, playing the WWE's library of amazing matches like they've been doing to cover up the 3 hour time slot. But yeah, man, who knows? I don't know what Raw's gonna be like, because there's also rumors that supposedly after Mania, WWE was supposed to be on hold, just like everything else, because I think the lockdown's getting more strict in Orlando to the point that people can't go to the PC anymore. So everything's up in the air. But we shall see. We'll find out, just like everyone else, I think. Um,
Yeah,
but Saturday night, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins to me has one of the best matches of the night. Two
absolutely. I
workhorses,
agree.
hmm two workhorses
I
just
agree.
doing their thing, and the emotion was there. There was almost like a Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels Iron Man finish where the match was over already, and they decided to continue to make it no disqualification. And I bought it though. I bought it. Like I thought when Kev won by disqualification, I honestly thought that was it. And I was like, wow, that stings. That stings from from a I don't know from a I want to say from correct character's point of view, but it just stings overall. But I'm glad they decided to finish that match and Kevin got a clean win. And not only that, I think he's immortalized now with that jump that he did by the like in front of the WrestleMania sign. That's gonna be something that's gonna be replayed over and over again as each WrestleMania passes by.
Like I said earlier, having a crowd there softens the blows that we take in the ring, and to take that big of a jump, no crowd there, I'm sure that hurt a lot.
Sure. But do you agree with how everything ended with Kevin Owens going over and finally, putting Seth Rollins behind him?
Yeah. I mean, him being on top, definitely. I definitely enjoyed the match. Physical, big bumps, and yeah, I love the outcome.
Yeah. What did you think of Seth Rollins' WrestleMania gear? I know that's something that you and me really look forward to, or the new gears for Mania.
Yes. Him being the wrestling god, right?
Yeah.
The white gear.
Yeah.
I always love the white gear, but you can only wear it once because you get white gear, it gets so dirty.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely. What does he call himself now? The Messiah, or what does he call himself? The Monday Night Messiah. Well, yeah, he's definitely rolling with that, and I agree with him.
Yeah. And speaking of WrestleMania gear, did you see that Kurt Hawkins posted a picture of him wearing his new WrestleMania gear, but wearing it at home, watching WrestleMania with his daughter? I thought that was really fun.
With his daughter. Yeah, I mean, he's been a wrestling fan since he came out the womb.
Yeah.
I gotta steal your line.
Yeah, man.
So he's got his daughter. He's got his daughter into wrestling, and he's watching it from home. I noticed. I think I don't know if Charlotte. I don't know if Charlotte Flair did or not, but she was asking a question on Twitter as to if would people be interested in a WrestleMania Zoom, you know what I mean? Like joining her in watching WrestleMania via Zooms. I don't know if you ever went through on that.
Wow, that's nice of her.
I could just see from social media alone that there were a lot of WrestleMania Zoom parties going on.
Yeah, I saw that too. Another match that was another serious match of the first night was Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. And this match, I don't know about you, but the result really surprised me.
No, I didn't see the match, but I heard a lot of people saying that, Becky should have lost, what's her name again? Baszler?
Yeah, Shayna Baszler.
Her name is Baszler?
Yeah, Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler. A lot of fans were saying that she should have went over because, that's how you put stars over. Shayna Baszler, that's how you put stars over. You get them over by to go over, because Becky's over regardless. She's the man, but for her to slip on a banana peel, I think it would have been good for Baszler.
Yeah, I think so too. I was more confused because I thought there was big rumors that after this WrestleMania, both Becky and Seth were supposed to kind of ride off to the sunset for a little bit and get married and have time off. And I thought it was almost like a fact that Shayna was going to win because obviously, pay it forward and everything. But I don't know, it's because of the quarantine that they decided to postpone the wedding. So that's why, Becky still went over because she's like, hey, I'm still going to be here. So But I don't know why WWE tends to do this sometimes. They build so much momentum to someone and they get everyone believing that they're a threat, and then they try to prove it for the first time and it doesn't go as according to plan. Like this happened to Sheamus during his first match or his first year in the company. He had such a high momentum and people saw him as an incredible threat, and then he lost his match at WrestleMania. Same with Ryback. People were starting to get behind him. He wrestled Mark Henry, and then he lost his first WrestleMania match. So I don't know what their train of thought is when it comes to that, or their ring psychology with that. But yeah, I really, just like you, I thought Shayna Baszler should totally win the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but Braun Strowman versus Goldberg. Thoughts on that?
They hit three. There were 3 or 4 spears. 3 or 4. They were trying to top each other with the finishers. Strowman with the running power slam. Like, I guess. I guess they didn't want to give too much to Goldberg. But that was a huge surprise to me for him to go over like that. I thought for sure Goldberg was gonna just stick it to Braun. But for Braun, it's just weird. Sami Zayn goes over on Braun. Was it Braun? Braun can't beat Roman. Yeah. But Braun beats Goldberg. I don't know.
I get it. I actually thought the opposite of you. I thought for sure that Braun was going to win the Universal Championship because as a fan, I would think the reason why Goldberg won in Saudi was just to carry that championship to Mania to give it to Roman. And I thought that was his purpose. And so now that Roman's out, obviously, I don't think Goldberg will sign on to continue being the Universal Champion. So I knew almost for a fact that it was going to be Braun. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy for Braun because this is something that's long overdue. This is something that a lot of people
very happy.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted this to happen, and it happened, and I'm glad that it did. But in my opinion, I think Braun should have squashed Goldberg. Like Braun should have squashed Goldberg, like how Goldberg squashed Brock during his comeback match at Survivor Series. I don't think Goldberg should have had any offense move. I think as soon as the bell rings, he should have picked him up, power slam 1, 2, 3. Because if it's gonna be a short match, make it a memorable and fun one that people are gonna replay over and over and over again. But people are like saying,
I agree. I agree.
People are like, "Oh, Goldberg still has to look strong." I'm like, it's not gonna hurt Goldberg. It's fine.
But I mean, easy payday and easy win for Braun at the end of the day. Yeah. He definitely went to the pay window, and I know he's super excited about it. I know for years, just from being in the locker room with him, that he had tunnel vision, and this is something that he wanted, and he got it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It happened at the end of the day. The next match I want to talk about is my second favorite match of the night. And it was such a fun one, and this was a match that I was really looking forward to, but it was the triple threat ladder match for the tag team championship. And in my opinion, they got the most athletic member of each team to compete, and I think it was the right call to have John Morrison instead of The Miz. I think it was the right call to have Jimmy instead of Jay. And obviously, it was the right call to have Kofi instead of Big E, because those are the 3 stars. Do you agree with that?
Wait. Both Jimmy Yeah, both Jimmy and Jay are pretty athletic, man. You can't just say Jimmy's athletic and Jay's not athletic. Oh man, they're gonna be very upset over those comments. That's for sure. If you know what I mean.
So when I say they're the stars of the team, I like out of all the teams, Jimmy and Jay are the only team that's equivalent when it comes to athletic skills. But Jay has said it many times before that Jimmy is definitely more the mouthpiece of the team. He always says Jimmy walks first and then I just follow him. So that I mean when I say the stars of the team, I mean you know what I mean, the one that has the more charisma, I guess. And I don't know, man. At least to me, I think Jimmy. If you have to choose, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I love the Usos individually, and I love them. Like they're great. Both of them have their own uh, talents that they bring to the team. But to me, Jimmy's star shines a little brighter because I feel like he has more personality, and he has that camera presence, his facial expressions, the way his comedic timing. You know, this
Yes, I agree.
I don't know. Did you happen to watch this match?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh man, it's one of the best ladder matches. There's so many unique spots that's never been done before with John Morrison. But the finish was so good because all three of them unclipped the little gold rod for the championships, and they were fighting over that. And John Morrison ended up falling with both tag team championships, and that's never been done before. And again, I talked about facial expressions earlier, but I think the reason why this match was so fun was because after John Morrison falls, Kofi Kingston and Jimmy Uso just look at each other, kind of just like homies that are mad at each other, man. Like, kind of, man, look at what you did. Kind of that type of vibe, which made it so entertaining.
Um, yes, yes.
So the last match of the night was the Boneyard Grave match, and to me that was art. That was so beautiful, beautifully shot. It felt like a really entertaining movie to me. Um, it's basically almost what wrestling is, you know, athletes that do their own stunts and entertain people all around the world.
Yeah, they um yeah, I love like again, it's entertainment, live combat theater. I love the way they went about it. I think some pictures and some videos had got leaked on the internet of them actually working on
Yeah,
the match. So that was a big disappointment for me that this leaked, because you know you kind of look like me. I know, like I know it's entertainment stuff like that, but for the fans, they don't need to see the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to that. Even though we have the network now, and you see a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but when it comes to something like that, like these guys are talking crap about one another for weeks, and then they have the match, and this footage gets leaked out.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of kayfabe.
Our truth, little Jimmy didn't need to see that. You know, that would have broken little Jimmy's heart if he saw that.
Yeah, yeah,
But I totally agree with you. I also did see
but
those pictures.
yeah, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Apparently, it took 8 hours to film that match.
Yeah,
So that's incredible. That's incredible. That's a long day. That's a work day right there. So they definitely put in their time, and you can also see in some of the leaked images, you saw Triple H. I don't know if you've seen him, but he was kind of like in the background, I guess maybe overseeing the match. So it's just like people don't need to really see that, at least not right now.
yeah, true. And from what I hear, the trash talking, that wasn't even scripted. That was just them two professionals rolling with it, and they didn't talk about what they were gonna say to each other. It just happened, and it happened so beautifully with AJ Styles apologizing, like I'm sorry," and Undertaker going, "Oh, you're sorry." Like all the trash talking, all of it, zero scripts, all of them. I think Triple H just said, "Go with it, just keep going." And even little moments where Undertaker bled, that wasn't even supposed to happen because from what I hear, that was a second take. Like Undertaker did that already, second take, he did it again, and it started bleeding. And there was a moment of hesitation of the crew going, "Should we cut and go back and use the first footage?" But they just decided to be like on the spot, like this is badass. Let's roll with it. But it was cool, man.
Yeah, it's funny it's funny, on social media, Undertaker, the OG, did you see he apologized to Chris Jericho because he
Ass
had
clown?
used that phrase, ass clown?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. Well, Taker used that, and then you saw the Twitter the Twitter verbiage between the two.
I didn't, but I saw that a wrestling source talked about it. That's how I found out.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. The Undertaker apologizing to Jericho when Jericho is saying, "The Undertaker's the Undertaker. He can say whatever he wants."
That's true. He's earned that, definitely, man. But definitely that match with AJ and the Undertaker really made people look forward to the second night. It almost set the tone, because it was so good, and it wasn't good for empty arena type of WrestleMania. It was just good overall. If they had that segment in WrestleMania 35, it would still hold up because it was beautifully shot. It was epic. It wasn't cheesy. It just these things only work with the right characters that can actually pull it off. With the Undertaker and AJ.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they did something like this was probably with Goldust and Piper, the Hollywood Backlot Brawl. I don't know if you remember.
Absolutely.
It's that stuff was taped, and that was a roller coaster ride for the fans. So for this Taker and AJ, it was definitely a roller coaster ride for the fans to experience. It's very Hollywoodish.
Yeah, and the fact that they had a short amount of time to do this, I know they filmed it in March, but all in one night, that's, man, bravo. Like, bravo to everyone that's involved, because that's a lot of hard work from the crew that had to clean everything up. That's a lot of cleaning, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I love how the Undertaker moved, Undertaker just moved like an American Badass, the way he moved, the way he stuck Luke Gallows with the tombstone, and then Undertaker getting up, he used like he had to get up real slow and stuff like that. He's an OG. He's an OG. So just the way he got up like the Undertaker, but it looked like he was getting up like an old man. But it's just he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and the way the Undertaker looked, man, he looked like the 2005 Undertaker. He looked healthy. His energy was there. His commitment's always there. He's the Undertaker, but it just looked like he's fresh, like he's not tired. He's not sore. It just looked great.
The last time I seen him tired and sore, really ever, I've only seen the Undertaker once tired and sore in one match, and that was him and Goldberg.
Yes. Yeah, that was probably his worst match, man. I never seen him break character like as a shoot. You know what I mean? Like that disappointment look after the match was over. That was like backstage curtain stuff, man. So that was basically WrestleMania night 1. And again,
too big for one night. Too big for one night.
They're not lying because each night was 10 match. Imagine having a 20 match WrestleMania card for one night. I mean, I'm
I
here
didn't,
for it.
I didn't realize that. 10 matches? I did not realize that.
I I say 10 because I count the 24/7 title exchange.
Uh,
Raleigh and Gronk, I count that as a match. So technically 9-9, but 10-10.
yeah, it's funny. A couple of weeks ago when they announced that Gronkowski, that's how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, yeah, you got it.
When when they announced that he was going to be part of WrestleMania, they had the little graphic with the other superstars and Gron, Gron,
Just
how
call
do
him
you
Gronk.
pronounce this?
Just say Gronk.
I can't pronounce his name because, you know, like we talked about off air, I'm boiling on the
Yeah.
inside. But we got to keep it moving. But there was some heat, not heat, but I guess Randy Orton was a little upset that he wasn't in the graphic that Gron was in. You know, that they might have replaced Randy Orton with Gron, and Randy had said. I forget what he said in the tweet, but he said something like, "Are you kidding me?" or "WTF?" So I guess he was a little bent out of shape that this guy that has no wrestling experience is coming to WrestleMania. But it is, I mean, it is what it is. WrestleMania is the showcase of everyone, from wrestlers to people in the entertainment field. Um, they didn't even have anyone sing the national anthem, did they?
They didn't, but what they did was they had a compilation of all the past artists singing the national anthem, and they made it all into one song. So Boys to Men, John Legend.
Oh, okay. I
It was,
didn't
it was
see
beautiful.
that. Wow, that was good because that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Again, I've seen the whole show, the both nights. I've seen a little bit of this, a little bit of that because of course the gay uncle with all the craziness going on. So I'm my god baby's gym teacher, so we have gym class, we have this, that, all types of activities. So I tried to see as much of the show as much as I could. But
Sure.
again, my priorities, priority number one is my god babies.
Absolutely, and absolutely. It's okay. That's why I'm here. I'll fill you in. So, second night started off with the kickoff show with Liv Morgan and Natalia. And Liv Morgan, she won the match. And man, Liv Morgan's a star, dude. I really think she's a star, especially with her whole repackaging.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she can definitely work in the ring, but she can tell a story with her face. She has great facial expressions, and that's super important. And she knows how to make you invest in her match. And I mean, to be fair, the match wasn't too crazy or anything, but overall, it was a good match, and I'm glad they've got the W for that. Again, her first WrestleMania. A lot of firsts in this WrestleMania for a lot of people.
You know, you talk about facials. You talk about facials. Facials are so important. I can't stress it enough, and that's something I didn't understand even when I was with WWE, until Vince McMahon would always say, he would always yell at me when I would come to the back, like we were good guys, me and Titus. And we'd always come to the back, and then Vince would be like this. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast or maybe I've told you, but Vince would always be like this. And then I'd come over to him and he'd be like, "You need to smile more, Darren. You're a handsome young man. Smile more. Let the people in. You get a W, you get a win, and you're like, smile. Let the people in." And he's so right, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, that's the moneymaker, you know. So moving forward after all those conversations with him, I'm very mindful like no other about your facials because that's your moneymaker. So yeah, you saying Liv Morgan's got great facials, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. She just looks comfortable. She looks like she belongs in the ring, and that doesn't come easy to a lot of people. But yeah, man, she's definitely. I bet you by next year she'll be at least a former or a current world champion. because she's got the talent for it. But
Yeah,
well, go ahead.
yeah. Before you go into the next match, it's funny that you mentioned Liv Morgan. Well, of course, because she was part of the kickoff for the second night. But I remember I was on a flight with her. I was on a flight with her years ago, and we were in first class, and she was sitting in front of me. So, of course, I'm being honest. I was being nosy to see what is she texting? What is she on her phone? So I was behind her, and I was like looking to see what was on her phone, and she had one of those. She had one of those. She had one of those screen things to block out so people can't see what you're writing or stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like one of those screen protectors.
Oh, I didn't know.
Have you ever seen one of those where
No.
like on your phone you can put this it's almost like a screen protector, but it's actually one of those screen protectors where like people can't, if they're sitting behind you, they can't look on to your phone to see what you're typing. It's like one of those hidden screens or whatever.
Wow,
So I just thought I found that funny. You never seen that?
No, I haven't seen that. That's new to me.
Yeah, it's like it's like a regular phone where you can like put like a screen protector, and then when you're like texting, if someone's sitting behind you, they can't see what you're writing. They make them for laptops too. I'm surprised you've never seen it.
No, I haven't.
But it's just funny. It's just it's just funny that she had one. It's just funny that she had one of those on. And this morning I just put this on.
Oh, I remember. That's what I got you for your birthday.
This morning I just put it on. I've had it for this long. It was in my book bag. I just put it on.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
Sorry I brought that up. Anyway. Yeah.
But that's good. I mean, she likes her privacy. She's smart about it. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know what the first match was actually on the card, but I think it was maybe Oh, I know what it was. It was Charlotte Flair against Rhea Ripley. That's the first match. And it was a damn good first match.
Oh, yeah. Charlotte got the W.
Yeah. That kind of set the tone for the second night because no disrespect to the tag team match, the Kabuki Warriors and Bliss Cross, but I feel like night one was more about like, what's WrestleMania gonna look like? What's the field gonna look like? And the second night, people already accepted what it's gonna look like, and they're more just ready to enjoy the show. And the kicking it off with Charlotte was really great because I consider that one of the main event matches, obviously for the World Championship, and it's one of the big matches for Mania. And I think Rhea Ripley did a really good job performing at an empty arena because she yelled a lot. Like, she screamed a lot, which made up for the silence in the arena. When Charlotte was working on her knee and chopping her knee, it was the loudest match. Like, she was like, ah! There was no moment of silence. Like, she was like in pain, just yelling at the top of her lungs, man. Like, I had to like tone down my volume a little bit for an empty arena match. She was just so loud. But I mean, hey, man, she did her job. It was different, but it was a great match. Did you have
what did you watch? Did you watch WrestleMania by yourself, or did you watch it with Hart?
I watched it with Hart. She was playing Animal Crossing beside me. She was on her Switch. She would check in once in a while.
No, but I didn't see the match.
No, but it was a good match. Man, you're kind of. It's. I wish that I was in your position where I haven't seen majority of media, so I can like look back at it today. But yeah, it's true, man. That's like, you still have WrestleMania going on for you right now. WrestleMania continues for you. Yeah. But it was a good match. It was a main event match. It could have finished the pay-per-view. In my opinion, it was we'll get into it, but it's better than the Brock and Drew McIntyre match. It was that good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, man. Emotion was there. And here's the thing, Charlotte is such a pro, and Rhea, obviously a really good worker. They made up for the fact that it was an empty arena, because just like the Taker and AJ Styles match, Charlotte was talking trash throughout the match for the fans. You know what I mean? To make sure that they could really hear her. She'll have moments where she'll knock down Rhea, and she looks in the camera like, "This is your NXT champion. This," you know. So she really, man, like she's just a pro. Like it's scary how good she is. Like WWE got really lucky with her. Um, Same with Rhea. Same with Rhea Ripley. For her first big time match, she didn't crack under pressure at all, man. Like she owned it. She definitely owned it. I'm just I guess I'm not surprised. I was more surprised that Becky won against Shayna, but I did suspect Charlotte to win this match, because I think the goal was for Charlotte to have the NXT Women's Championship, and to kind of treat that championship a little bit like Brock treat the Universal, where she's not exclusive to NXT, but she only shows up to NXT during big matches. Like she's an attraction, you know what I mean? So she can still carry it to Raw. What is she on SmackDown? Oh no, she's on Raw. To carry on Raw and trash talk, promote NXT. I'm the best that they got. And then when it comes to it, big match NXT, more eyes on NXT. So I think that's what I wasn't surprised that she was gonna win, but it was really, really great. And for it to be a first match was like, oh man, it's hard to like follow that one. Another match that was really random, no storyline, no build-up, was Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. That just randomly happened. It was on the card. They just promoted it. They had no issues. They have no storyline or anything like that. It's just an athletic competition. It was good. It was good. You know, Aleister Black is already super talented, so it's guaranteed to be a good match. But I like Bobby Lashley's new ring gear. Maybe you didn't see it, but he dressed like he looked like Ricochet. He came out with long tights, and then the string like in the front, you know, that laced up like look that AJ has, and he had that. So he had a new ring gear, which looked really fresh, and it almost kind of like rebranded him as a superstar. It gave him like a legit good. It was a good look on him. It was like draping.
Wow, he's a big dude to be having. He's a big dude, impressive looking dude to have long tights. You know, you don't want to hide that body of yours, but hey, you know, I guess it's good to switch it up.
But you know what's crazy? I know you haven't seen it. I'm like explaining it to you, so it doesn't look right. But when you see it for your eyes, the long tights actually complements him, because he look with the black and gold trimmings. He looks like a warrior, like he looks like someone from Marvel. So
well, I tell you what, after this quarantine, I'm going to be going to the Bret Hart look.
Oh, what? The singlet?
Yeah, because I'm fat now. Look.
You're not. Stop it, dude. Those are abs to some people, man. That's funny.
I'm going with the Bret Hart look.
The Kurt Hawkins Bret Hart look. Stop.
Bret Hart. Bret Hart. I think after WrestleMania, was it last night or Saturday night? He said that if he had to do WrestleMania 36 in his prime, he said that he would have no problems doing it. You know, he said he doesn't believe in rehearsing, like being out there rehearsing the match beforehand, because Brett's a professional. Brett's the best there is, the best there was, best ever will be. So he doesn't need to rehearse, you know. But he said that he could definitely pull it off if he had to do an empty arena match, and that would have been cool to see. You know, that's like a dream match to see if he could do an empty arena match.
Yeah, I think Brett definitely has the talent. It just goes to show this environment really separates like clearly who the stars are. You know what I mean? certain matches look awkward, and certain matches look phenomenal. Uh, I'm not gonna mention who, but we'll have like our match that you can feel is an empty arena, but then you have something like Charlotte and Rhea Ripley or the Undertaker and AJ Styles that thrive. Like I know AJ and Undertaker was taken at a different venue, but if it took place at the Performance Center, they still would have knocked it out of the park. But going back to Bobby Lashley and Aleister Black won and he got his first WrestleMania victory. But I know they're gonna start now. It's gonna be the demise of Bobby Lashley and Lana. That storyline is gonna be done pretty soon because Lashley was about to have him beaten. He had him over his shoulders, and Lana got on the apron. And she goes, "No, give him the spear. Give him the spear." So Lashley went, "Okay, I got you, wifey." And he set up for the spear. And when he went full on charging, Aleister Black gave him a back spinning hook kick, knocked him out 1, 2, 3. And at the end, he looked really pissed at Lana, and Lana just looked worried. So you know that's gonna be like that. You know what that means.
Yeah, I can definitely see you in the writers' meeting and be like, "Oh yeah, Darren Young, Bob Backlund." Nah.
No, stupid. I wouldn't say that, man. That's like the move that everyone's like afraid of if I was ever the writer.
That should be that should be the GIF. I like that.
Man.
That should be a meme, or was it a meme or a GIF? Like,
yeah, a compilation. Man, if no one watches what they're doing and you just hear a bunch of that, they're like, "Man, what are you watching?" Oh man. But yeah, dude, like night 2, I really enjoyed it. I don't really follow up on the whole like Otis and Mandy and Dolph Ziggler storyline too much. Only because Otis is such a lovable guy. I just don't want to see him be disappointed. So the storyline of like Mandy, the miscommunication, or he feels like he's getting dumped by Mandy, whatever. I can't watch that because I just want him to be happy. So I didn't really follow up on that. But the match with Dolph and Otis was pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't really necessarily.
Wait. Is Otis and Mandy a real life couple?
I don't know. I don't think so. Why?
Okay.
They are?
No, just curious, huh?
Oh, no, I don't know. Maybe. I didn't hear anything about that. But what I am intrigued about the storyline is the fact that there's this new kind of like hidden camera hacker character. Did you happen to see that?
No, I missed it.
Okay, so basically, it's a show of its own, man. Mandy was supposed to go on a date with Otis, right? But then something interfered.
Oh.
Right? Something interfered. And
I saw it.
Yeah, they had a miscommunication. So out of nowhere, this hacker lookalike guy with the hoodie pops up, and he's like, "Oh, the truth."
Was Sonya, right?
Yeah, what Sonya did. But a lot of people think the hacker with the hoodie is Ali. People think it's Ali because of the ring light circle. And then that's
Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali, yeah. Because the symbol, the hacker, is the light, like the circle light, and that's what he has on his palm and his chest. But it's still, I'm intrigued with that because I want to know where they're gonna go with that character. But yeah, Sonya got exposed to messing with Mandy's love life, and now out of nowhere, she's teaming up with Dolph, and she accompanied Dolph to the ring. And then during the match, Dolph was having his way with Otis, and then Mandy came out and she started attacking Sonya Deville. And when the referee wasn't looking, maybe she gave Dolph a low blow, maybe Otis gave him a low blow, and then Otis, the caterpillar, or the new version of the worm, and got the win. And at the end of the day, fairy tale ending. He kissed the girl. He got with Mandy, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, man. Otis, he's
Mhm.
a breakout star. He's a breakout star. He's another gem for WWE.
Mhm.
Because you
Yeah,
can't,
I agree.
yeah, he has that face, you know, like his voice too. He's a lovable dude. Um,
He's a strong dude too.
yeah, he's what is he like an Olympic like wrestler or something like that? He has like a background in collegiate wrestling or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know what he is, but he is thick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, their motto is what, like lift weights, like eat steaks and lift weights or something like that. uh, another match that was really good was the tag team match, the Street Profits against Austin Theory and Angel Garza. And the match was great, but I was disappointed that Street Profit didn't have new ring gear. Like they just came out with a regular red ring gear. I was like, really, guys? Like these are the guys.
Well, the red gear, you gotta have the red gear because the red cups, you know?
True, but man, they could have came out with gold cups for Mania, like black and gold with gold cups or something, because that's what literally
I
what they wear on SmackDown. I'm on Raw every week, and I was like, oh man, what a letdown. Because that was actually one of the things I was looking forward to. Like, what are they gonna wear for Mania? But
I see.
yeah, but I mean, it was a great match, man. Austin Theory had a huge break, right? Like out of nowhere, he gets his
Yeah,
first
out
WrestleMania
of
match.
nowhere. Out of nowhere, he looks like $1 million. I don't know if I've ever met him personally,
Mhm.
but to go back to the gear, like you have to start planning your WrestleMania gear like November. You know what I
Damn.
mean? November, because so many people are trying to get new wrestling gear. So Titus and I would start like November, October, November. We would start working on our WrestleMania gear because it takes time. It takes time.
When you say like it has to start in November, is it because there's one company that does it and then everyone goes to that company or something? Or
Well, with WWE, and it's still like that. They have three seamstresses. So you can ask one of the three to make your gear, or you can ask someone like Robert Adams. He's in Atlanta somewhere. His organization is called Main Event Gear.
okay,
So yeah, you can go to different people, but there's only a handful of good people that know how to make gear.
got
Again, just like wrestling, there are a lot of wrestlers, but there's only so many good wrestlers.
sure.
With people that make gear, there's only a handful of people that know how to make gear. So yeah, you got to start early. You got to start early, and you gotta sweet talk them. You gotta give them a little extra, sweet talk them. Please, please, I need my gear. I need my gear. So,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's a cool like that's the other side that's really interesting, you know? That things that
and
they hmm.
gear costs a lot of money. Like for me, like for trunks and knee sleeves,
Mhm.
you're gonna spend $250, $300. So just
Wow.
imagine, and yeah, and that's low. Just imagine like an outfit like Charlotte
Oh,
or you know or
yeah.
Miz. You're gonna spend like a couple thousand, because the stuff is quality stuff. It's quality material, and it takes a lot of time. Especially like when you have sequences and stuff like that, they
Yeah.
have to be put on one
One by
by
one.
one by hand. So
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, hundreds of like stuff that have to be glued on. It takes time and money. So yeah.
That you must have to have so much patience to have to be like a seamstress and create outfits like that because you're literally there like for hours, like little imagine like Ric Flair's robe, you know, Charlotte's like you said, Charlotte's robe. Ugh, that's that you need to have a lot of patience for that job. Um, but we were talking about
But
people.
that stuff is, but it's so durable.
Mhm.
Like when you have all that stuff on, you can be slammed, you can be pulled and tugged. You don't
Yeah,
want to have any wardrobe malfunction. So you need the best of the best.
True, very true. You're right, man. You're right. It's just so crazy. I never thought of it that way because sometimes like I see when they do behind the scenes documentary of WWE, you just see like the seamstress like attaching the logo to the trunks like on the spot, and it's just like whoop, and it gets like sewn in. I was like, wow, that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
But earlier we talked about
And bro, there's been so many times, oh, sorry. For me, there's been so many times, I can say probably twice off the top of my head, where like the show is going on and like my gear isn't made yet, and because sometimes they get busy, so you're like hoping
yeah.
like, oh, I hope my gear's ready. I hope my gear's ready. So you gotta have a plan B and a plan C, and then plan A works out. The show's going on. They hand you your trunks, and you're like, oh. Then you just put them on, and you have to go. So yeah, there are times when like the deadline gets met like hours before your match.
Well, that's what happened to Shawn Michaels during Survivor Series during his first Elimination Chamber match. He wore that weird black tights, and it only had S and then M on the other side, and his legs were nothing. It was just black, and like they didn't finish in time. And I remember Shawn saying that Triple H looked at him and said, "You're gonna go out like that?" And Shawn's like, "Yeah."
But yeah, like in the future, maybe a Zoom. We definitely need to get like Makazi.
Oh yeah.
He's been on our list. He's been on our list for many months now, and probably in crazy times like this, we can definitely get him on just to explain like how long it takes to make gear, what are some of his favorite things that he's made. So yeah, definitely in the future, hopefully we can get him on.
Yeah, that'd be super fun, man. I said earlier, this WrestleMania really separates the stars from the not non-stars, but it just separates the stars from the rest. And this match was just beautiful. And I think you know what I'm talking about. It was the last man standing match with Edge and Randy Orton. And from top to bottom, emotion check,
That
violence check, athletic abilities check. It was just so great.
throughout all of WrestleMania, that's probably one match I was looking forward to.
Mhm.
I was looking forward to the AJ and Undertaker match, but Edge and Randy, I was looking forward to it because they have so much history, and like they're like wine. They age gracefully with time. If you look at before and after pictures of when they started and you look at them now, it's just like, oh, amazing. I feel like that about myself. Like, you know, September, I think, be 18, 19 years I've been doing this. And since I've been out of WWE, I've had some of my best work out of WWE because, like, you know how to take your time. The pacing's better.
Yeah.
It's just like everything clicks. And Edge and Randy definitely clicked. So I'm glad that they had what I believe is a 5-star match.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I really love how they got to play with their settings. When they were fighting at the gym, Edge kind of got to show off. They played it in a way where it looked like, oh, Edge is in his comfortable zone. He's at the gym, and he was able to play around with some of the equipments and use that as his weapons for Randy. He was swinging on something. I forgot. Like he was swinging on the bars, and he pushed himself to Randy. Like little moments like that was really cool. They took it all the way to back of the building and all that. And some people, like you're not gonna please everyone. Some people thought the match went on too long, but I disagree.
Yes. Yeah, I read that. I read that.
Yeah, but I mean, I disagree because it's been such a long build up, and it's such a important moment in Edge's life. Like 9 years now, I believe, like 9 years of him coming back. Like it's okay for it to be long, and I honestly didn't think it was long because it felt like a movie. All like it just took it on this like wild ride, and I thought the ending was so beautiful because it was well written. Whoever wrote that was great because Edge used that submission move on MVP, that chokehold. Oh wait, you saw this, right? So Edge did it on MVP, and you didn't think much of it like at the time. Oh, okay, like knee choke over Edge, that's cool. But then full circle, that's the move that got Randy to get knocked out, and I thought that was beautifully written because it's enough to make people realize, to make people remember that Edge came out with that new look, new hold, but at the same time, people did forget it. So it was when he put that on, we're like, oh, there it is. Like, yeah, that's a new move that Edge has been like perfecting. And kind of like Jericho, right? When he was like practicing the elbow thing. And then that turned out to be the move that he beat Hangman Page for the world title. So things like that, long-term planning like that, it's really great.
Yeah, the match was how long? Like 28 minutes?
Yeah.
30?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
28 minutes?
Mm-hmm. And the concerto at the end, beautiful finish. I didn't think about it, you know, like I didn't have that foreshadowing, like, oh, I bet it's gonna be concerto, predictable. I didn't think about it like that at all. I had no idea what the ending's gonna be. So with that being a concerto, it was just poetic justice, you know. So it was great, man. It was a beautiful match.
Yes.
And Edge was still able to maintain his six pack from January to April because he's like in the best shape of his life.
I mean, he both of them, they look great.
Oh yeah.
I just still get worried, like those high bumps that Edge is taking. I always get worried because like the neck is a sensitive area, man, sensitive area. So I just every bump I cringe, you know, because I want to make sure he's okay. But both guys put on a hell of a match.
Absolutely, man. But one match that I thought was, no disrespect, I mean, it was still a good match, but compared to like other matches, it was just like, oh, cool, was the Bayley SmackDown match against your homegirl Tamina, Naomi, Lacey Evans, and Sasha Banks. And I was really surprised at how this match ended because, you know, the build-up was almost kind of like building up this turn that Sasha was going to do on Bayley. Everyone thought she was going to turn on her because, you know, they've been buddies and this is the moment that they turn. But no, Sasha stayed loyal, true and true, and helped out Bayley. And I don't know where that's going to lead to because, like, there's not much to work with, you know? And I think Bayley's a talented wrestler. I think she is a star. But in my opinion, she's not good at being a heel. I feel like it's as if like it kind of reminds me of like me pretending to be a heel wrestler. Like you can just tell how much you want it and how much you want to come off as a heel that it doesn't, people see through it, you know? It's like you're playing a wrestler basically when she's like on the mic as a heel.
I think you can pull off being a heel. I think you can pull it off.
Ah, thanks, man. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, I just like for Bayley's kind of like, like I can feel her trying to make a statement that she's a bad guy now. And I think it didn't help that Paige kind of like buried her just a little bit during one of the SmackDowns episode. It was an empty arena SmackDown episode when Paige showed up via Skype or whatever. And then, you know, Bayley was giving her heel promo, like, oh, and then Paige is like, oh yeah, that's right, you're a bad guy now. So it's kind of like, but she kind of spoke for everyone, you know? She kind of spoke for everyone because it's almost like the bad guy handbook. You turn a bad guy, new haircut, darker like makeup. You know, it's very, very like cookie cutter heel packaging. And some people can pull it off, but in my opinion, like Bayley just doesn't. I think she's better off as babyface.
You know, Arnold, I just realized you can have your own dance. Like your own dance could be I forget the damn it. I forget you had just did before, like before you did this, and then you did something like oh man, I forget the other gesture you did.
I did it.
I just forgot it. Yeah, you just did it like 30 seconds ago.
Oh wow.
Whatever. You have all these gestures that I'm just cracking up. You know? Anyway, Anyway, but I'm definitely like the next time I have to do choreography, I'm definitely gonna add that.
Oh, dude, we have to film a TikTok video together next time. That's
Oh
happening.
yeah, I can't wait till we film it in August.
Yeah, in August. Yeah, wow. Hopefully it's sooner than that, man. Uh,
Uh,
it's
yeah, that's how I feel. That's how
yeah,
I feel now.
yeah.
Oh.
It's like mood for everyone right now. Ugh, man. But yeah, but I mean, good for Bailey. She retained. This is the second time she retained a world championship at Mania. Her first WrestleMania, she retained her Raw championship, and I remember thinking at that point, well, that's it. It doesn't get any better than that. Coming in as world
Yeah,
champion, leaving as world champion at WrestleMania, that's it.
yeah.
And she did it again as the world champion, leaving
Mm.
out as world champion. So cool. Like I'm super happy for her. But again, I'm just wondering where this whole Sasha Banks storyline is going to go with her. But man, did you watch the Firefly Funhouse match?
Yeah, so
I did. I don't know what I just witnessed when I saw that, but I was fully entertained. I was laughing so hard. To me, like what I took away from night two was as funny as it is, like the highlight of my night was hearing Bray Wyatt singing "You can look, but you can't touch." That got me so bad. I thought that was so hilarious when Bray did that, man. Because you remember that part where like John swing and he ducked and he's like, "You can look, but you can't." That was great. That was so great. But I thought it was,
and then
go ahead.
then the prototype, like you can just tell like he's getting older, like his
Yeah,
body looks a little different now.
yeah. His hair looks different.
Oh my goodness. He is aging right before our eyes.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, man. That's true. It happened like within the past 2 years, I want to say, right? Like the change,
Yeah.
the drastic change.
Mhm.
Um, but like I know it didn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, like, and that's okay. I just thought it was fun to see John Cena in like an NWO shirt, things like that, and him going back to his old gear. But the one thing that I will say, what I wish was that there was like a real referee or something like that, and make the match. I know it's supposed to be fun. I know it's supposed to be weird. I know it's supposed to be in the mind of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. But I just wish they could have added a little more, like an official match vibe to it. You know, I wish that there was more scary, almost like Undertaker, like seriousness to it, where
Mm.
in the Fiend's setting, like dark. Mankind has his boiler room. I wish there was a little bit of something like that for the Fiend. And I wish it wasn't Bray Wyatt counting the 1, 2, 3. I wish it was like an official WWE referee, because even though I know in the history books is like the Fiend beats John Cena, having Bray Wyatt being the one that counts it's kind of like, if you're gonna look at it in that perspective, it's kind of like, is it officially a win?
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have Husky Harris get the 1, 2, 3 for him.
Oh yeah, I thought that was really cool to see Bray Wyatt going back to some of his old characters.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, he's so talented, man.
Hmm.
But I think the pig with the headband, that's supposed to represent Husky Harris. That's why he did that. There's so many symbolism, like with the chocolate in his mouth. I think that's supposed to be Husky Harris, or what he
Yes.
thought
Yeah.
of his character as Husky Harris.
Mm.
But finally, we've gotten to the conclusion of WrestleMania with the last match, Drew versus Brock. Did you watch this match yet, by any chance?
Oh yeah. Another personal favorite of mine. Very, very physical. Um, Drew. Drew did it. Drew did it. What else can I say? I'm very happy for him. I just again wish it was filled with fans,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the match.
Yeah, you can sense his anger throughout the match a little bit, when he would say stuff like, come on. I bet that some of that anger is, elevated by the situation. But
Hmm.
I think he still had the emotion there. I think it was great, and I think when they counted 1, 2, 3, his reaction was really amazing. The way he kind of let out this gasp of air, like he's just
Yeah.
been through hell, and he finally did it. He still celebrated like there was a big crowd there, with his emotions of him crying and holding the championship. It was great. It was great, man. But um as great as it was, again, like no shade to Drew and Brock. I still thought Charlotte's match was better, but I understand why Drew and Brock went last, because obviously it's Drew and Brock, and this is what they've been leading up to. But it was an amazing match, and
Yeah. Yeah, definitely one of the nights they should have had a women's match, main event the show, but still, you have 10 matches a night. You're still getting your WrestleMania moment. You're still having a great opportunity. Again, you can't have your cake and eat it too, but yeah, I definitely would have loved to have seen a women's match main event again.
year in a row.
Yeah, why not?
And both women's world championship matches were both great. Becky and Charlotte really came through, and yeah, I mean, I think obviously we want, like, I think this has been said a lot, but Vince wanted to have everyone feeling happy at the end, right? With everything that's going on, and having Drew McIntyre standing up, holding the championship as their last vision of WrestleMania 36 is obviously the goal from the very beginning. And man, like I said before, people can hate this WrestleMania, people can feel any type of way about it, but at the end of the day, they props to them for pulling something off like that when everyone's supposed to be quarantined, when everyone's like risking their lives to perform. No one would blame anyone if WrestleMania didn't happen. No one would blame anyone if the wrestlers didn't want to perform, but they still put on a show, and it was one hell of a show. COVID-19 or not, if you just look at it from a match point of view, like every match was a WrestleMania worthy match. But yeah, I think WWE pulled it off, man.
Yeah, Arnold, you just have the right stuff to say. You just know the right stuff to mention. You see the best in every. You see the best in yeah. You see the best in everything, and that's what I love about you, man.
Thank you, man. I try, man. I surround myself with good people like you, man. It's hard not to feel positive.
Yeah, in times like this, you're literally my therapist now. I joke about it since day one that we were doing the podcast. This is episode 43, I believe.
43, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, 52 will make it a year. I think we've been doing this over a year. We've had a couple of weeks where maybe we didn't meet up, but I think we've been doing this well over a year. When did we start this? Didn't we start this before we started this before WrestleMania last year?
I think we started in March, man.
We started in March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know when our anniversary show would have been, but we should have already had our celebration.
True.
But I guess our celebration had to be our celebration had to be when we hit 52 weeks via Zoom.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully we won't be doing it in Zoom during our 52 week. But only time could tell. We can only hope. But yeah, that's WrestleMania is in the books for 2020. Now it's such an unpredictable time to see what happens next with the wrestling world. I don't know if they're gonna, like you said, I don't know if Raw is gonna happen tonight. We'll find out, and hopefully by the time you guys are hearing this, it should be up by Wednesday. So unless any news comes up before that, it's unknown territory. But I want to thank you guys for hopefully doing your part and staying home and saving lives, man. Fred and I are definitely doing that. As there might be times where we would be probably feel like we need to get out of the house to distract ourselves. Just, we're doing our part definitely to make this COVID-19 go away for good. But anything else you want to say, Fred?
You always put me on the spot, man. But yeah, I'm definitely not getting in the gym today. I was supposed to get in the gym when I talked to you early this morning, but I just got tied up with some emails and my god baby. So right now it's a little too late for me to work out. So after we're done with this episode, I'm gonna be posting away on my social media and do my little side hustle. Yeah, man, great episode. Episode 43 of Pro Wrestling in the can via Zoom. Even though we're neighbors, we got to definitely practice that social distancing. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Again, you are my therapist, and I appreciate you in my life, man.
Likewise, man. Super lucky to have our brotherhood, And
Yeah, and I was talking to my uncle, Dr. Charles Rosser. He's a urologist here in LA, and we definitely have to have him on our podcast. I was telling him because he's got a lot of wrestling knowledge. He actually brought me to my first WrestleMania.
Wow.
WrestleMania 17 in Houston, Texas. So we definitely have to have. We definitely have to have him on in the future to not only talk about wrestling, but also talk about the importance of when you get older, get checked for prostate cancer. He, out of all the doctors he talked to, my uncle was the most informative. So definitely having him on Pro Wrestling would be really cool. So he's an expert at doing all types of podcasts and radio shows. So to have him on would be really cool because he's always asking, oh, how's the podcast going? How's the podcast going? Because he sees all the clips on the IG story, but he's so busy. I don't think he's had time to watch an episode, but he enjoys seeing our little clips that I put on my IG story. So we definitely have to have him on. We definitely have to have him on in the future.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great, man. And thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Hope all you guys are staying safe. And if you guys are watching us through YouTube, make sure you guys leave a comment and let us know what we can do better. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, make sure you guys give a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. And until then,
block the hate, salute the great.